Right. Hello folks, welcome to One Vannan Too Many Topics. The topic I want to talk about in this video is of stalking awareness. I have been stalked myself and I want to tell people what happened and how everything unfolded. But I strongly believe that I need to tell you what to look out for at this point. And hopefully many of you have never been stalked, but I want to tell you what behaviours to look out for in case you do start getting stalked. So, Okay, I would say, first of all, stalking could be described as a newfound fixed attention on yourself. Also, that means, if somebody who never once paid attention to you suddenly had a very, very strong and fixated interest in you, then that could be an indication of stalking. Somebody taking a all of a sudden interest in you, trying to time you coming out of work and meeting you at the railway station. That's one example. Another example is unwanted gifts. That could be flowers, that could be chocolate, it could be a bottle of Pepsi, it could even be just as simple as a nice pen with your name on it. Now, in the event of you ever receiving gifts, have as little contact with the gifts as possible. Phone for a place, and that's 999 because it's an emergency. Okay, so another thing is malicious rumour making. That's called malicious falsehoods in the court. Also, unwanted social media contact. That can mean messages, that could mean friend requests, that can mean pokes. Remember the old school poke thing that still damn exists. What else? It can be something along the lines of a person trying to speak to your colleagues, like let's say the person has absolutely no connection to your workplace and suddenly start trying to converse with your colleagues about you in whatever way he does it. Also, another indication could be taking snaps of you. So for instance, the person's right behind you and taking photos and stuff like that. That's another indicator you're being stalked. I would say generally stalking is a profane and intense interest on you when previously there was no relationship between yourself and the person. And at this point in time, I want to quote some stuff off of Police Scotland, so we know what's. Let's see. I think. Oh, and another thing that I'm just reading now. Some stalkers will recruit other people to target their victim, right? And that basically calls dissolves responsibility. So I'll try and explain that a wee bit later on. I've got a really good example of that. So the police say, first of all, they say that stalking is a serious criminal act under Section 39 of the Criminal Justice and Licensing Act 2010. Legislation states that an offence occurs when a person engages in a course of conduct on at least two occasions which causes the other person to feel fear or alarm where the accused person intended or knew or ought to have known that their conduct would cause fear and alarm. So, how to describe the behaviour, I would call it, it's called recognising the behaviour. The stalker's behaviour can be fixated, obsessive, unwanted, or repeated. Now, the example I'm going to mention is actually all the above, but we'll talk about it in a minute. So, stalkers seem to intimidate their targets through one or more of the following: sending unwanted letters or cards, sending unwanted emails, text message, or social media posts, making unwanted calls, delivering unwanted gifts to workplaces or homes, following or spying on them, sharing intimate pictures of them without their consent, posting publicly about the person, making threats. So yeah, practical kind of advice, report it to the police. If you've got concerns, they will listen to you. Also, don't interact with the person. Have as little interaction with the person, because they could be one of them stalkers. As soon as you interact with them, they bend it and twist it around and tell the police on you. Make sure you carry a mobile phone whenever you go out. Make sure you have your keys ready for when you approach the front door, so there's no sentinel to fumbling with your keys kind of thing. Turn off GPS on phones, activate PIN passwords on your phone. So Police Scotland take it very seriously, and I'm 110% sure any other police force up and down the country would. Now, with me, it started in December 2012. I've got lots of water because this is going to be a long video, and I want to tell you absolutely everything. So, right, okay, I'm going to top up my water. 2 seconds, please. But the problem started in December 2012, and that was surrounding the sudden and unexpected breakdown and death of a friendship. And the thing was, this guy I had been friends with, I'd been friends with 5 years previously, not a problem. And then suddenly, right, and basically the whole cutting caboodle, the whole root and nub of the scenario was my then pal Stephen had pushed me in a shopping trolley for a small amount of space, and the one that the relationship went sour with had a problem with it. But the thing is, he had no problem face to face about it. What happened? He had no problem, and in fact, there was absolutely no problems at all of put your pal in the shopping trolley, kind of thing. And it was the friend then Stephen that pushed me in the trolley for maybe about 4 metres. But anyway, yes, there was nothing ever said. The guy that had the acrimonious breakup had absolutely nothing to do with it. He just seen us from a distance, and then the next day when I went to the former church, the mother had a tete-a-tete with me one-on-one, and she was very angry, number one, for what it was worth, and also she was not wanting to hear that actually the friend was actually pushing the trolley and not me, trying to claim I was a liar and getting relatively aggressive. So I went home, phoned up the friend, and I said, look, this is what happened to me in the church just only X amount of minutes ago. And he said to me, are we going to have to drop this guy from being our friend? And I went, well, yeah, unless you want to be the recipient of one of his wacky rumours as well. And the person said give me a week to think on it, which is absolutely fine, thinking time, etc, etc. And yeah, came back a week later and he made up his mind he was going to continue remaining friends with this person who had clearly fabricated and or altered the story so that mum could kick off at me. And I just said to him, fine, you know what you're getting yourself into, he could equally turn on you next week. But let me tell you, as of the end of the conversation, that's on your head. I just says, you know, it could be you next week, you could be phoning me up next week or a week after, following the same narrative. And he went, no, I'm sure he wouldn't do that, he's a right good friend, blah blah blah. And I said, aye, a right good friend. He just done that to you. You're right good friend, as in myself. You know, couldn't get very much information. Couldn't get much common sense. I mean, and I spoke a week later from that, and I said to him, "What's your stance on it?" And he said, "Well, I'm all right. He's not causing me any problems." So translate into figurative Glaswegian terms, he just basically went, "Fuck you, I'm alright, Jack." Right, and I just said, well, whenever shit starts going wrong on your side, make sure you don't come crying to me. So that was that. 26th of December, I was aware of a friend who was watching a film on Boxing Day. That's December the 26th, 2012. And yeah, a person actually phoned me up and he said there was these three guys in watching a film on Near Enough Baldy. One pure small, I'm sure he works at Asda, and another one it looks like Kanye West. He actually did say it word for word. I'm not just adding things in. It was cool. They were all sitting slagging this guy Andy off in the viewing room, and I was trying to watch the film. I couldn't hear the film for these bastards cackling away. I had to tell him to shut the fuck up. Oh my god, I know all of the ones you're talking about. And I did get proof later on that he went, the friend went to watch a film on the 26th of December. It was fine, but ultimately was engaged in bad mouthing me. And a good old Scottish thing about bad mouthing somebody, you never ever bad mouth someone to their face because you know they're going to whip their cunt in. Aye, so that was the 26th of December then. Communication between the then friend and I were very, very limited, very sparse. And then I would say February 2013 is just when all forms of communication stopped. Phone calls were hung up on, text messages were unreplied to, Facebook messages, and I just thought fuck it. But at that point, kind of early February 2013, I was in college, I had a job, it was all going on, but this is where I want to kind of slightly backwards step. Near the Christmas period, I dyed my hair red, and this is when my hair was already doing here, right? And I chose to do that, apart from anything, it was a moment of creativity, it was a moment of expression, it was an emo moment. There was no ulterior motive, there was no sexuality caveat to it, but yeah, when at that point I had Derek's colleague, that's the kind of person I had the Archimos, he had seen on Facebook I had dyed my hair red and told Derek, and Derek was very excited about the idea, and the then friend, also known as Stephen, got told about it, but there was no pictures particularly online. So it caused a right gaggle of conversation, and Derek's friend Matthew and Derek had came to the conclusion that I came out of the closet. This was a mechanism of coming out, and Stephen, the then friend, clearly agreed with it. Never did he turn around and went, "Shut the fuck up, yous lot. Yous know from previous amounts of years that Andy is going through a goth or emo phase, and besides the point, whatever he takes to bed is nothing to do with any of us." And that's what I mean by kind of setting the impression right at the door, so to speak. You know, when this relationship crumbled away back in December, Stephen should have turned around and said, "Right, Derek, I do know what's going on. I don't approve of it, but we two will be friends so long as you don't badmouth Andrew." And I've said exactly the same to Andrew regarding you. But the moment you start thinking this is a free opportunity to sit there slagging people off, I'm walking away from you. He didn't do that. And regarding the haircut, you know, just as previous, as I said, right, because the two opportunities to lay down the land were missed, the metaphorically came in and actually ruptured me from the inside out. And yeah, the situation had deteriorated badly because there was no land set kind of thing. But they all came up to this disgusting conclusion that this is my comment clause, and it's only disgusting because it's inaccurate. And besides, whether people are straight or gay it's irrelevant. The hair colour was just, if anything, creative causes, creative choice, emo, all that stuff. They turned it into this dirty caveat that was, and then a friend that I kind of lost connection with, RB, came in with his friend, and Derek immediately zoned in on him. "Oh, a few of us think Andrew's gay because he's dyed his hair red. It's bus red. Oh my god. Ooh, bum 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 bum." And RB, the former friend, he was not interested. He was like, "Aye, well, he's dyed his hair before. What's the whoop?" And his pal's a bit more kind of clinical and quite kind of, let's say, you know, he doesn't care about what others think. So it was RB's pal who tried to search all forms of the internet to search it and found a picture of me, couldn't, and that's where the call out happened. If you see Andrew Vannan up at town at the weekend, take a picture of him, even if you need to do this kind of type. I don't personally know what that type of photo was called, but anyway, the call went out, and the call was received by somebody. Ironically, I was coming back from Bell's Hill, seeing a lady friend, and I got off at a girl street and just ran like fuck up Glassford Street, right into LGBT district, through it and onto the then number 21st bus before simplicity happened. So yeah, I mean the thing is, I got off at a girl street because when I would have got off at Glasgow Central, I'd have been waiting 22 minutes for the next via Amazon train, so I thought, fuck that, now there's a bus due. So I got off at a girl street, zoomed through obviously, and just as I was coming through the LGBT district, a lassie had called me over to the doorway of a gay bar, took a photo of me, you know, that kind of I'm with Andrew Vannan kind of thing. And before the bus even got to Byers Road, that was the number 20 first bus, I was already trending and being talked about all around the internet. Why is he there if he's straight? Lol, dunno. And some obviously uneducated delinquent joined the conversation and said, mate, he's fucking autistic. And this is where RB's pal chipped in at that point and said, best description ever. And also it was shared on Facebook, and the person from our school, only known as Bryceland at the time, said, I would have paid good money to see this. Good money, if you want to talk good money in Glasgow terms means at least £100. So let me get this straight. This person would pay at least £100 to see me standing at the doorway of a bar. Why fuck you need hobbies? Or at least drugs or something, you know. There are things out there, hobbies, drugs, prostitutes. But anyway, you know, clearly person's lacking excitement in their life or whatever. Maybe he naively came into the conversation, didn't know what was going on, who knows. But anyway, yeah, I mean, that had a very negative mark on my personality, because, you know, like following that, I tried to get dates here, there and everywhere, you know, and it was 4 dates in total, and every time I went for a date, you know, she just says, no offence, but are you not gay? I'm like, no, why? Oh, no, never mind, it's okay. And I says, why would you want to be bringing up this at a date? I mean, besides, if I was gay, I wouldn't be here in an Italian restaurant. I'd be bent over the side of a couch getting fucked up in the arse with a big cock. Oh, no, you know, I quickly retracted out of it, and I said, you're clearly saying it for a reason, I need to know why. Oh, no. Obviously playing the cards close to the chest. The next one was a kind of similar narrative. The one after it, I was meeting the lassie in George Square, and we were chatting. It was quite nice, it was beautiful, and she was like, one of my friends think you're gay. And I said, so what one of them? She wouldn't give a name, and I said, well, I'll tell you something for a more fucking fact. If I was gay, I wouldn't be sitting on this bench trying to get a meaningful relationship with yourself or any other woman. I'd be sitting in the house fucking bent over and getting fucked up the jacksie. And, you know, I just tried to ask her, you know, who did you get this from? And she wouldn't give it. The next time, this lassie says, oh, are you sure you don't like men's willies? Are you sure you're not gay? Oh, there's nothing wrong about being gay. Of course there's nothing wrong about being gay. Obviously not a problem at all. And she said, are you sure you're not bisexual? Because if you're bisexual, there's no problem in it. And I said, well, why are you dating someone who you think could be gay or bisexual? Don't be so fucking stupid. I'm only here because I'm wanting a relationship with a woman. And then, that was in a restaurant one, and originally she was buying the meal, and after that she went to the toilet, and then she left without paying, leaving me with a bill. That was about £30. And I got better action up the fucking water at Leith. But anyway, it was a 4th date. And put it that way, I was the one that pulled out. You know, it was about to happen, you know, the day it was some 24-year-old lassie. I think she was from Paisley. It was Paisley, and what happened was I just pulled out an hour before, just said, like I'm stuck in that lift. And that time we had the WhatsApp, and I was able to show her a lift that was fucked. And she was like, oh shite, I hope you're okay, blah blah blah, and I was like, aye. So after that, this is getting to a crescendo point that explains why over the years I've only been using these one night shag websites, like fuckbook and all that. And interestingly enough, the lasses that I've met on that kind of one night fuck basis, a few of them I've actually told what happened with me, and they say it's absolutely disgusting, and they hope that I can find the strength to go report the crime. But I probably previously said, before getting into all the romantic stuff, that it was clear that the then friend Stephen wouldn't communicate with me, and I just messaged him, and that was actually me, because between March and May 2013 I was very, very busy. I had a death to deal with. I had been diagnosed with GAD, which is a generalised anxiety disorder, and I was on strong medication, so like weeks would only feel like days, usual kind of psychiatric medicine kind of side effects, etc. So I didn't really deal with the matter until May. And I just said to him, well, I've been trying to contact you, and you've either patched my calls or ignored my Facebook messages or whatever. You know what, fuck it, we're through it, and if anything happens on your side, don't come crying to me. So I was kind of very lay out my cards. And interestingly enough, about May time, at May time I actually went on holiday, but I'm just going to quickly divert back. See, because there's so much bad noise being made about my hair between the middle of December and February 2013, I started having self-esteem issues, and although I love the hair, because there's so much negative noise around me, that was starting to erode my self-esteem. And yeah, it was something, I was thinking something else, it was horrible. I mean, the thing is, I was wanting to try and articulate my problem to someone. I was going through college, and because the situation was so crazy, I couldn't articulate myself around the topic to actually try and talk to someone, to hear a release of what I'm feeling without sounding like I'm schizophrenic or paranoid schizophrenic. And clearly I had an attempt at trying to talk about part of the problem to a friend. Clearly I was showing some kind of, dare I say it, low self-esteem about my hair, and worried about what people think of my hair. And the guy that was sitting about 2 seats away in college quite often had actually dispensed me some common sense, and he was very, very to the point. He's always ever been to the point, right, where I can bumble on a bit, but he just said and looked me square in the eye, and Andrew, there's nothing wrong with your hair. And he also quite kindly spared me a wee bit of time, and he actually went on to his social media and showed me what his hair looked like a year before. He had dyed his hair the year previous, as in the year before, of course. And yeah, what I seen in that Facebook picture was fantastic. A fantastic looking guy with red hair, and his hair was probably not as intensely red, but similar. But anyway, you never know. I mean, it could have been exactly the same, but it looked very similar anyway. And, obviously I held on to them words in the back of my head, and that prevented me from having any other deterioration in that matter. Yeah, I'm going to stand up again. So yeah, that wee pep talk with that college mate really did help things. So coming back through to May 13. May 13, I went for a holiday, and it was to a place called Manchester, and it was a Sunday morning, and this this bus was due to leave for Manchester at 11 a.m. and to even get myself out of Knightswood and up to the bus station for 10:30 in the morning, some fucking feat by me, because up the west side of Glasgow, buses are fucking atrocious. Sometimes they don't start till midday, etc. But anyway, yeah, I got myself up to the bus station for just after 10:15, and I was there with my suitcase, and oddly enough, this guy from Dumbarton, the one that told all the lies to his mum, and the mum went apeshit and that stuff, that guy is actually named Derek. Right? 10:20, Derek suddenly appeared at the bus station. Right? And he came within about maybe 3 metres of me and just kept staring intently at me. And interestingly enough, 3 minutes before the National Express came in for Inverness. And the thing is, Derek was drip fed that I was going to be going on my holiday, and that's why he was there. But in Derek's case, Derek had travelled from Dumbarton all the way up to Glasgow to watch me wait for a bus. Right, that must have took a lot of planning, because he must have had to be up at 8 o'clock in the morning, out of the house for 9:15 on the, I think it's 22 minutes past 9 train, through and up to Glasgow, up the stairs, up the Cannon Street, and into the bus station. I mean, that's quite a feat to travel, at least 15 miles up a Sunday morning to get to a bus station before 10:30. That was something else. That's an achievement, might I say. And the first time around this actually happened, I didn't really think much of it, apart from what the fuck is that clown up here. And interestingly enough, it was a Sunday morning, so he had ditched church for me. I feel honoured. So yeah, and oddly enough, 3 minutes before the bus came in from Glasgow, he disappeared. And this is a narrative that repeats itself 3 other times, 4 in total, right? It's clearly, the thing I've got to tell now is National Express coach service has a tracking app. So it's really designed for anxious parents, making sure their kids safe right away through the journey. You get it. And also rural districts where National Expresses come through, but it can be a bit delayed, etc. So that, general purposes, and I said, yeah, it's happened 4 occasions, 13, 15, 16 and 17. So yeah, it was quite fucking intense, and one thing that binds these bizarre incidents together quite fucking neatly is the fact that he disappears 3 minutes before the coach appears. Every time. Faultless. So clearly some kind of remote interaction causes this 3 minutes kind of thing. And this is not the this is not the first of, I would say, stalking behaviour, because I used to do work in Clydebank, and I was actually pulled into a meeting one day at this workplace, and says like, there's this wee guy hanging about outside who staring in, and he's not looking at services or the products or anything like it. He's like staring in, looking for somebody. Do you know this guy? And I went, aye, I do. And I said, if you need to, just fucking phone the police or whatever, you know, just whatever. 1 week if we were going to do it, and then the next week when I came in to do some work, I said, have you had to call the police on him? And he went, what, him? No, we don't do that. That's sad, the guy's disabled or something, blah, 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 blah. But, and I said, if he's causing any use a missive, then you do need even the advice from the police. But no, that wasn't followed up. And because that wasn't followed up, the guy, Derek, clearly thought that was an opportunity to fill his boots and continue on. That went on 13, 14, 15 and 16. In 13 and 14, the guy would come to a window, stare through, and have at least 1 hour sessions of staring through. People would come out and ask him, can I help you? And he would say no, and then return 5 minutes later. You can see the deadly cycle. And then in 14, that's where Derek would time, clearly he knew when I clocked off, and he would time it enough for me to get to Singer Station, and then he appears before my train arrives. Interestingly, to say the city bus was taken off Clydebank, Knightswood and Island, so I couldn't fall back and use a bus instead of a train, as the police would maybe suggest. So I was either have to walk an hour at least to get home, or run the gauntlet or train. So that kind of narrative, 13, 14, and possibly at least start 15, that was meeting me at the train station after my shift. But yeah, that was very frightening, and that many a time I actually phoned my mum and said, he's even coming up. Like if I get to the platform and I position myself at the middle of the platform, and he would line himself up on the opposite end of the platform to look me up and down, kind of thing. It was really, really worrying. So yeah, 2014 itself, I was getting often jobs out of the city, so I wasn't down at Clydebank so much. So maybe because I was lesser sights of me, it's the absent makes the heart grows stronger, etc. In 2015 I actually left Clydebank workplace entirely to work a job in the west of Glasgow, up in I'm not telling you the area, but basically I was brought in as a receptionist and went to admin. And from 2015 through to nearly 2017, I was working with this company, and I am sure Derek would have seen my photo in the Clydebank Herald, because our company was in the newspaper promoting mental health and what to do if anyone's having mental health. So yeah, it was a very enjoyable number, like might I say, and yeah, he'd have probably seen that, and he would have probably pinned it up on his wall or some daft thing or whatever. So during this period of time of work, I didn't really see Derek, but on 2 occasions, 15 and 16, I was using National Express to go to Manchester, and you can scroll back for the above narrative. I mean, on two of these occasions, actually one of these occasions, again, was a Sunday, and he must have dodged church just to watch a guy get a bus. But the interesting caveat it surrounds all these 4 National Express incidents is every one of them, he leaves the bus station 3 minutes before the coach arrives. He doesn't get to see the nutshot. He doesn't get to see the punchline. Most stalkers would they would wait until the bus comes into the bus station, parks up, collects passengers and drives off. But no, and every time out of 4, he does the same behaviour, which is odd. And yeah, I mean, the type of bus I used on all 4 times was a Plaxton Elite. Most of that pattern doesn't make any sense to anyone, but basically Plaxton Elites are coaches that are designed with panoramic view windshields, and basically put it that way, you can see absolutely fucking everything in front of you for at least 100 miles, 100 or so metres. So he actually did scuttle off, and he went out of the bus station through that door, you know, the gas sniffers sit outside that, and that was it. Even when the coach was leaving Glasgow bus station, you could see right down the pavement, nobody with his description down that way, nobody of that description that way, etc, etc. So yeah, it was and that was a very odd experience. Interestingly to note, the then friend Stephen and I became friends back in October 2014, and the friendship went on till my visit to psychiatric hospital in 2017. And interestingly enough, Stephen would drip feed bits and pieces to Derek, and when my mum was coming in to Asda, Derek would stop her and say, "Oh, you never guess what? You never guess what? Did you hear about this? Well, you know, usual stuff." And my mum didn't hear about it. And then when my mum came home and asked me about it, I was like, "Oh, I've ever only told Stephen about that." "Oh, like Derek knows about that?" And I'm like, "How does he know about it?" At the time, I had absolutely no fucking idea. Until near the time I went into hospital, and I'm like, "That fucker's been fucking plating up Derek, my confidential information. Bastard." But anyway, yeah, I mean, when I went into hospital, forms of contact with him, even just a minute phone call just to say hello, I'm doing okay, dried up, gone. And interestingly enough, something must have been said about where I was to something was clearly said to Derek about where I was and why I was in hospital, because my sister was in one day, and Derek came up and went, "Andrea, it's Derek." And she says, "So what's up? Is it true your brother's in the psychiatric ward? He's in a hug me coat and all that stuff?" She went, where my brother is has nothing to do with you." And he says, is it true he's in the padded cells, the hug me coats, he's got tons of antipsychotics and stuff?" And as I said, I don't need to reply to you. And he tried to follow her about, you know, down an aisle to try and get a goss, and she said, if you're not going to fuck off, I'm going to report you." And interestingly enough, when I was in the psychiatric ward, this is maybe July 17, my pal Craig, he had been recipient of being followed about when he's trying to do his shop. And that guy himself, he lives single, so, you know, a single man, when he does a single man shop, he's got to be single track minded. Because if you try and multitask in that avenue, things will go fucking bad quick. So yeah, and the thing was, like, Derek said to Craig, "You're Andrew's pal, isn't you?" And Craig went, I'm about 6 Andrew's pals. So, what do you mean? Do you know Andrew Vannan? I went, "Yes, I do." And he said, "Aye, Andrew Vannan has long red hair." And that's where my friend Craig said, a correction, he's got short black hair now. Aye, few of us thought he was gay. And that was what Derek said. And Craig says, "Well, I think you know him better than I do, because he's been going through goth and emo phases for a long time. Unless this is just you being ignorant, Derek." Derek tried to grab his attention for 20 minutes over me, and also at that point Derek was trying to talk about me being sectioned. What's brought him up to Jurassic Park? Why is he in the hug me coats? You know, and that's, I don't know, would I say that's maybe Derek maybe flashing us a bit of guilt? Don't know, but that wasn't the case. Although the reason for me being in there was not Derek, it was certainly featured. But anyway, I didn't get known about this unwanted behaviour of Derek until I came out of hospital. And it was one day that my pal had contacted me, and let's be honest, he was seething. And he said, at first he says, "Andrew, I don't want to be putting you through what I'm going through about," and that, you know, quite kind of magnanimous, I think the word is, quite okay. That's basically what it means. And I said to lay it on me. I've went through the worst, so whatever's in your head is going to be a walk in the park. Come on, open up. And he did. He said, "Mind that guy that was giving you grief and following you and saying stuff about you?" And I went, "Aye." He said, "Yeah, he's following me around the aisles at Asda, trying to ask personal and inappropriate questions about you." "Alright, okay." And right away I said, "Let me tell you, it's not just you that's been harassed. And if you'd like, whenever you're next free, come up to mine and I'll show you some of my diaries." And at that point I asked him, "Craig, do you have a diary?" And he says yes. And I said, "Let's go and compare diaries tomorrow then." And tomorrow happened. And Craig and I seen very disturbing narratives right away, like, right? And at that point, again, Craig and I formed an action plan. We went down to the Asda and we asked to speak to the manager. And at that point I showed diaries, and they said show the diaries to police. That's coming up in a minute. But anyway, yes, they got us at least one warning for what was going on between Craig and I. And Craig was telling me it hadn't changed. You know, he's still getting followed about, getting asked inappropriate questions, etc, etc. So I went down, and at that point I said, "If it's not going to stop, tell Derek the police are coming." So we went down again, and then the last was what was it, December 18th. It was about Christmas time, because Derek had tried to engage me in conversation in a shopping centre, and at that point, you know, I just thought, you know what, it's no, situation's kind of become static. It needs to have intervention of the police. I went to Police Scotland Clyde branch but I know for a matter of fact, because the incident isn't what you call a retail crime, then nothing was going to happen about it. So, officers gave me bits and pieces of advice, and then I asked the call centre about everything, and they had given me it was a book appointment. That just means the police either turn up at your house or whatever. And I went down to the police office on this occasion and gave the diaries over, and they had a right good read through it. I would say the officers were with the things for at least 5 minutes, and they unanimously came to a description of unwanted contact. And at that point they just said, Andrew, just leave the diaries with us and we'll just get on with it. And a couple of weeks later I contacted later on and asked was there any progress updates, etc, etc. And interestingly enough, at that point in the what's it called, in Drumchapel there had been 3 murders. So whenever the officers were going to jump in the car and go down and deal with this problem, they were called back. Or if the officers were leaving to deal with the problem, they got called back. Or when they were driving down to deal with the problem, they were called back because the van was needed, but they were not. So it was very frustrating. So what they did was they worked on the fact that they know his workplace, and they phoned up as a first line inquiry. Hi, do you have this guy on your employment book? Yes. Okay, have you had any problem with them following people down the aisles, etc., when he shouldn't be doing that? He's up in front of the house. Oh yes, we've got several problems about that. Okay, and has anyone ever used the word stalking? And 3 people had used the term stalking. So because they weren't able to directly intervene with the guy, what they did was they did a bit of work that hopefully would have, let's say, the word call an end to all this unwanted and potentially hateful speech about alongside the worrying behaviour. Now, all due credit, the officers had alleviated the problem. Craig wasn't getting bugged anymore. Mum was getting peace, and so was I. And yeah, and then for another reason, Derek had been sacked and started voluntary work at a thing on Dumbarton Road near Dalmuir Station, and within I would say months of being a volunteer or all that stuff, he became quite kind of relaxed and a bit kind of cocky of himself, I might say. And in March 2020, he had admitted to a group of handicapped people that he had been stalking a gay guy for years, and named me as the person he was stalking. Clearly, wherever he previously said this kind of admission, unlike the previous time, this time around he didn't get a hero's welcome. He got the bum's rush, and he got told off by a lassie called Stephanie, and she said, how dare you be mean to people? Whatever people's sexuality, it has nothing to do with you. Are you jealous or something, Derek? Whatever people do in the bedroom has nothing to do with you. If you're not going to say anything nice, don't say anything at all. So he got absolutely burned And this lassie Stephanie, she contacted a friend's uncle that knows me, and the friend's uncle contacted my friend Craig, and Craig contacted me. So again, I booked a diary appointment with the police, and they turned up, told them the whole thing. They said it's alright, we've got absolutely everything logged from the previous meeting, that's absolutely fine. So they just asked me what had brought me to calling them that day, which is a very fair enough question. So I at that point, I told him, and he actually, the officer is a very transparent officer. He told me the fact, because we're potentially dealing with ASD, even going down and interviewing the guy could result in the police officers getting into a lot of trouble. Because of all the kind of AWI stuff, that's adults with incapacity, blah blah blah. It did say there was enough to refer the case to intelligence. I believe that was 15th of March anyway. They appeared, and about 2 days later, I don't know what happened when it got referred to intelligence, but I have a hunch something did happen with the situation, because the then friend Stephen I seen 2 days after the police had been at my flat to deal with the issue, and put it that way, I got I seen Stephen, and it was absolutely emotionless, or there was nothing phasing him when I was standing maybe about 3 or 4 metres away from him, and eventually my train came in before his, and I just stood at the doorway, on the trains, because the trains were busy, and by that point he had took a very aggressive growler stance, puffy up chest and purple with dirty looks, and they only started doing the growler and the puffy up stuff as the train door shut and started moving. So, he didn't have anything to really say or do for himself when I was just meters away from him. Only just feels powerful when the doors have closed and the train's inching out the platform. Odd behaviour, but anyway, I'm not intimidated by any of that. It's just childish and laughable, really. But anyway, I feel there is a corroboration between, the intelligence department getting what had happened, and then also him acting in such an aggressive way I've never seen before, actually. So I'm on the hunch that maybe something had happened and the police had turned up. And as Officer McDonald said, we are referring it to the intelligence department, and whether they chase it up to or not is 110% up to them. So that's fine, that's absolutely fine. But ultimately, out of that police visit, that was another batch of stuff being logged onto the system. Right, so getting closer towards the end of this video. The guy attends this kind of social club. The guy attends this social club, and somebody comes back from being ill, and whether it was a inadvertent transmission or he had potentially got the virus via maybe a train, or what public transport's like, but ultimately he came down with a very, very serious and horrible illness, and it was that serious. He was in ICU. He spent an amount of time before passing, and that day when I got told that he had passed, it honestly felt like a punch in the stomach. punch in the stomach knowing that actually happened. He died. And also a punch in the stomach because after the police had left middle March, I had made my lawyer aware of what was going on, and at first the lawyer was thinking write out a letter to get the guy petitioning for the cessation of all these stalking behaviours. But because he's seen the depth of my diaries and how long things were going on, he even said to me, Andrew, no, it would be pointless to go down the letters avenue. This is firmly established and we need to go down, I would say, the interdicts route. That's okay. And I had signed various forms agreeing for it and give as much information to the law services regarding that. If that was something that would have stopped all the nonsense, the hateful speech, the stalking, the following of friends and family, although and did it cost £1,000, sometimes it's so fucking worth it. But anyway, when I was told that Derek had died, I was like, it felt like a punch in the stomach. It seriously did, because justice had not happened because of obviously COVID stuff. Law practices were shut, law services were shut, so Derek had missed getting an interdict. Wasn't particularly happy. The thing, it just feels awful really. And a few people said, surely you feel lighter because there's no more problems going to happen anymore. No. And apart from his stalking behaviour, this Derek character had awful coercive control over Stephen. What I mean by is, I haven't even seen the text messages myself because Stephen showed the phone to me, but we'd be texting Stephen things like, "Hey Stephen, it's Del. If we meet up this weekend, make sure Andrew is not anywhere about. I don't like him, and I don't want to hang about with him. If he turns up, we won't be meeting together again." It's like weird things like that. And another quotation. "Hey Stephen, it's Del. Please make up your mind who you want to hang about with. It's either me or him. When you make up that decision, that's the end of it, as in, once the decision's made, it's made." And Derek says, don't end up like Andy. Don't end up like him. There are other examples, but I've hopefully encapsulated that, it was doing coercive control. And the thing was, like, Derek got, when he was a friend back in 2007 to 2012, he got knowing who my friends are, who my family are, what my job is, where I work, what proximity I do compared to Asda, etc. And he was able to also use the knowledge of the fact that the friend that I referred to a few times as RB and I had actually broke up because I discovered RB's tweets about me and I was not happy in the slightest. And basically, Derek was trying to stir the pot between RB and myself, and Derek actually agitated the whole matter. And RB and I was actually talking most recently, and he even said to me in the conversation that Derek had been stirring the pot really, really fast with regard to RB&I and the social media type breakup. He identified it as the pot was stirred, and if someone remote to the situation is saying that, clearly there must be evidence in that. But that's another kind of part of stalking as well, apart from talking to friends and family what belong to you, which ones he never did, stirring the pot, bad mouthing, hate remarks, following, maybe social media posts. That's only in some cases, but that wasn't the case in this case. But that was 7+ years of hell, and yeah, it's been an absolute nightmare. But as I say, if you actually feel you're potentially being stalked, start, as one police officer told me once, make diaries ASAP. Let the diary fill up to a point, but if there's any incidents of gifts, unwanted gifts, or unwanted social media posts, yes, that's an immediate get to police time now. But that officer turned up in March. He was very transparent and talked about all the practicalities regarding ASD and mental health and all the rest of it, and what could happen if Derek's mum had thought he was going to get arrested for no particular reason. But the thing was, the police officer did say to me at the time, if he jumps in any form of social media and says exactly what he said in this social group that I was talking about earlier on, then he is up for arrest. So yeah, but the only way I can sum up this is I just hope none of you would go through what I did. That's the only thing I'm saying. So if you do have any issues in your personal life, go to Police Scotland. Go on the Google Police Scotland and then fill in a report. But the quicker it's addressed, the quicker it's sorted. Catch.